Welcome to the KinderPage podcast from Toronto. Today is Monday, May 5, 2025, discussing the worst age to start daycare.
A big one.
Huge. And just a heads up, this deep dive is based on research, but we always encourage listeners to, verify details for themselves.
Really cool.
Look, figuring out this whole daycare thing in Canada, it's a massive task for parents, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Monumental.
You're just swimming in different opinions, feeling the weight of it all, and probably second-guessing every thought.
Totally. It's right up there with picking baby names, eh? Everyone's got an opinion, and the stakes just feel incredibly high.
Exactly. And the daycare landscape here, especially now with Sewell LCC making waves, it's incredibly diverse. More options than at Timmy's drive-thru.
That's a good way to put it.
Seriously, though. You've got your licensed centers, those cozy home-based daycares.
Right, the neighborhood ones.
And then these hybrid models popping up, Indigenous-led early learning, which is fantastic, and even specialized programs.
It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation anymore.
Not at all. You really need to put your detective hat on, do some digging.
That's so true. That digging really pays off in finding what actually fits your family.
So, okay, our mission today, let's call it our deep dive, is to get into the research. We want to pull out some key insights about timing daycare entry.
Yeah, help folks navigate it by looking at maybe the potential challenges at different ages.
Exactly. So let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the real, tangible benefits kids get from going to daycare?
Well, a huge one, especially maybe now post-pandemic, is the social-emotional development side.
Okay. Tell me more.
Think about it. Daycare gives kids this amazing space to learn really crucial skills, like how to share that coveted toy without a full-on brawl.
Been there, seen that.
Right. How to actually say what they need instead of, melting down. How to sort out little squabbles.
They need diplomacy lessons.
Basically. And understanding their feelings, others' feelings. Some research even suggests these early positive peer interactions that can really boost social skills long-term.
It's like their first little practice society, isn't it? With all the drama and the wins. And the learning part, that seems to have really stepped up, too.
Oh, definitely. It's not just glitter and glue sticks anymore. Though there's still glitter. Always glitter.
So much glitter.
But yeah, there's a much stronger focus now on, early literacy, getting comfortable with numbers, even basic science ideas. The Sewell LCC push has likely amplified that.
Right. More focus on actual early childhood education.
Exactly. So you see more structured programs, activities designed for specific developmental stages, plus the exposure to diversity, different kids, backgrounds, perspectives. That's invaluable.
Yeah, building that inclusive view early on.
Totally. And they might even school you on things. My niece totally corrected my T-Rex roar the other day. Apparently, it wasn't scientifically accurate according to daycare.
Huh. Little experts already. Okay, but we got to flip the coin. What about the downsides? The real drawbacks parents worry about?
Well, cost is still a thing, right? Even with subsidies, it can be a significant chunk of the budget for many families. Then there's separation anxiety. That can be really tough. Emotionally draining, honestly, for kids and parents.
Oh, that drop-off guilt is real.
It is. And let's be honest, that first year, it can feel like your kid is collecting germs like Pokemon cards, colds, flu, you name it.
The daycare crud, a rite of passage.
Pretty much. And depending on the place, those staff-to-child ratios, sometimes getting consistent one-on-one attention can be a challenge.
Okay, the sickness thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to having kids enjoy the constant low-grade allergy in your house. But you mentioned ratios, and that brings up something critical, the quality of the daycare itself.
Yes. This is huge.
It's not just about finding a spot, it's about finding a good spot, right?
Absolutely. You could argue the quality of the care is the single most important factor, way more than just the age they start.
So what makes a daycare high quality then? What should parents look for?
Okay, key things. Is it licensed? Does it meet provincial standards? Sewell LCC adds another layer of oversight there, too.
Right, the baseline stuff.
Then the staff. Are they qualified? Experienced? Do they actually seem to like kids? What's the ratio, how many kids per adult?
Crucial for attention.
Definitely. And health and safety, are they serious about hygiene, safety protocols? What's their actual approach to learning their curriculum? And how do they communicate with you, the parent?
So if you find a place that nails all that, it can make a big difference no matter the starting age.
Precisely. A really nurturing, high-quality environment can buffer a lot of potential stresses.
Okay, let's talk specific ages then, the ones that get debated.
Yeah.
What about starting really young, like before 6 months? That feels tiny.
It does, and there are valid questions there for sure about forming those really early attachments. Some research has looked into potential links between very early starts and maybe increased stress hormones in babies.
Okay, that sounds concerning.
It does, but it's nuanced. We also have to consider that better access to high-quality regulated care, which is part of the goal of things like CWEL LCC, might help mitigate some of those concerns.
So quality again.
Quality and the type of caregiving. At that super young age, whether it's at home or daycare, what matters most is having caregivers who are really sensitive, really responsive to that specific baby's needs and cues.
Tuning right into them.
Exactly. And honestly, the parent's own comfort level is huge too. If you're deeply uncomfortable, that matters.
That makes sense. Every baby, every parent is different.
Yeah.
Okay, flip side. What about starting later? Say, after age 3. They seem more robust then.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be easier maybe. But interestingly, starting later can sometimes bring its own adjustments, especially around socialization and getting used to a structured group thing.
Really? How so?
Well, a child who hasn't had that kind of regular group experience might take a bit longer to adjust to classroom routines, following group instructions, navigating all those little peer interactions.
Learning the rules of the game.
Kinda. It's not usually a major barrier, but a gentle, gradual start and some extra support can definitely make it smoother. It's like jumping into season 5 of a complex TV show. You need a little catching up.
Huh. Okay, good analogy. So it's not automatically easier just because they're older? It sounds like there's maybe a period people often point to.
Yeah, you often hear early childhood folks talk about the 12 to 24-month window, maybe sort of a sweet spot for many kids.
Why that age range specifically?
Well, typically by then, they've usually got those primary attachments pretty solid with their main caregivers, but they're also getting more mobile, starting to talk more, and becoming genuinely curious about other kids.
All right, ready to explore a bit more.
Exactly. They're often just more naturally inclined and able to engage in the kinds of group activities and learning opportunities that daycares offer.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense. They have some independence, but maybe aren't full-blown three-nagers quite yet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, and this is crucial, it's just a guideline, not some magic formula.
Right. It always comes back to the individual kid.
Always. You absolutely have to consider your child's specific temperament. Are they generally pretty adaptable, outgoing, or more cautious, need more time to warm up?
Yeah, you know your own kid best.
What milestones have they hit? What's your family life like? Your work schedule, your support system? Some kids just roll with new things easier than others. And with daycare potentially becoming more affordable for some families now, thinking about these individual factors is maybe even more important.
So finding that truly great daycare,
Yeah.
the quality piece, again, that can kind of override concerns about starting outside that 12, 24-month window.
I think so, yes, to a large extent. Think back to those quality signs we talked about.
Yeah, the trained staff, good ratios.
Right. Engaging programs, safe and welcoming vibe, open communication with parents. That kind of place can make a world of difference. It eases the transition for the child, and honestly, it reduces parental stress big time.
Okay, but what if, despite finding a seemingly good place, a child just isn't settling? Regardless of age, what are the signs things aren't working?
Yeah, that happens. Definitely some red flags to watch for, like
Sure.
crying or clinging at drop-off that's really excessive and just doesn't get better over, say, a few weeks.
Okay, persistent distress.
Exactly. Or ongoing major struggles with settling for naps or activities at daycare, maybe even seeing them regress, like losing skills they already had, toileting accidents if they were trained, that sort of thing.
Okay. Anything else?
Changes in eating habits, either at daycare or home, or just becoming generally much more irritable, clingy, or anxious when they are at home. Those could be signs they're finding it really tough going.
So if you see those consistently,
It might be worth talking seriously with the daycare, maybe trying a more gradual transition plan, or even considering hitting pause and trying again a bit later.
that makes sense. It really is about tuning into your specific child's signals, isn't it? But man, it's easy to get swamped by what everyone else is doing or saying, the parental guilt, the shoulds.
Oh, it's deafening sometimes, isn't it? The pressure is immense.
Yeah.
But honestly, navigating childcare is stressful enough without comparing constantly or feeling judged.
Tell me about it.
Every family, every child, every situation is unique. What's perfect for your friend's kid might just not be the right fit for yours or for your family's needs right now. You have to try and filter out that noise.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut. Focus on what you know about your child, your circumstances. Your instinct as a parent counts for a lot.
So Wrapping this all up, it really sounds like there's no single definitive worst age to start daycare. It's way more complicated than that.
Exactly. It's a really personal decision, super nuanced, lots of moving parts. While research might point to things to consider for certain ages,
Like a potential attachment stuff early on or socialization adjustments later.
right. But ultimately, the quality of the actual daycare environment and your child's individual readiness, their temperament, their development, those often matter way more than just the number on their birth certificate.
Quality and the individual child. That seems to be the recurring theme.
That's the core of it, I think.
Okay, so here's a final thought for everyone listening to mull over. Instead of fixating only on when to start, maybe ask, what does genuinely high-quality, nurturing care look like and feel like for my specific child and my family situation?
Yeah, shifting the focus. Prioritizing finding that right environment over the theoretically perfect age might actually be the most helpful approach.
Food for thought. Find the fit, not just the date on the calendar.